Good, happy Sunday morning, September 22nd, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this morning, so let's begin. First up, Manchester firefighters responded to multiple spice overdoses. About a dozen calls made in 4 hours. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
The Honda CR-V is perfect for people from all walks of life. From the daydreamers to the night riders, and the carpoolers to the lone wolves. Let's not forget the young ones, and those young at heart. No wonder people made the CR-V the best-selling CUV in its class. Hurry to your Honda dealer during the #1 CR-V event and get a great deal today.
Overwhelming us.
The first 911 calls arriving at shift change around 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Several more follow throughout the afternoon. A dozen in just a few hours.
Seems we got a bad batch on the streets today.
Manchester District Fire Chief Henry Martineau says some of the overdoses involve different drugs, but it is believed the majority are due to spice.
They can buy it over the counter. It's basically like an incense that they smoke.
He adds it is most likely laced with another substance.
Every overdose is serious. So, they all get transported to the hospital, which, inundates the ER.
The fire department also feeling the heat from the spike in calls.
You're taking these pieces out of service for every call. So it spreads us a little thin throughout the city, and it's become obviously an issue in the city. It's nothing new. We've been dealing with this for a long time.
7 of the overdoses happening here at New Horizons Homeless Shelter on Manchester Street.
Special thanks to the police and to the emergency responders who have been amazing partners with us, and we really appreciate the time that they spent here today, really helping us to get this under control.
Chief Strategy Officer Kathy Kuhn telling News 9 spice has recently become a problem at the shelter.
It's a public health crisis in the city, and so it's something that we think needs to involve many partners, and so we want to be a part of that to try and get this under control.
And Manchester Fire really echoing that statement, saying it will take a collaborative effort on both the state and federal level to break down the overdose numbers. Reporting live here in Manchester, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Firefighters battle to alarm brush fire in Bow. Firefighters, including a forest unit, extinguished a brush fire on White Rock Hill Road Saturday. Bow firefighters were sent to a brush fire Saturday on White Rock Hill Road in the area of Timmins Road. Firefighters reported the fire at around 4:45 p.m. after finding a large outside fire near Bow High School. It is unknown what caused the fire at post time, but an excavator was at the scene. When the Bow tanker got to the scene shortly after the first units arrived, a firefighter reported to dispatch that it was a large, legally outside fire, according to the scanner chatter. A second alarm then was called at just before 5 p.m. Later, a forest ranger was requested to the scene. Rally for Recovery held at Veterans Memorial Park in Manchester. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
At Wentworth Douglas Hospital, community is at the heart of everything we do. That's why we're expanding. State of Addiction coverage now. An annual event in Manchester aims to put the spotlight on the recovery community. Dozens of advocates and agencies filled Veterans Park today as part of Hope for New Hampshire Recovery's Rally for Recovery. Organizers say recovery is a movement that can spread quickly when people are able to be open about their struggles with addiction.
That's one thing that's really nice, is that more and more people recognize that we don't need to live lives of shame and self-destruction. That word spreads.
People in recovery shared their stories in hopes of helping others.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Fans line up to celebrate grand opening of Chaos and Kindness store in Laconia. Recycle Percussion opens store yesterday. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Mrs. Smith, we got your water test results back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so your arsenic levels are really high.
The grand opening of Recycled Percussion's Chaos and Kindness store in Laconia is a smashing success.
Last night I went to bed and all I did was dream about this place. So we've been outside rocking and grooving and waiting to come in and see Justin.
Many waited in line, some for days, to be the first inside.
Absolutely awesome. The colors are beautiful. The people are happy. It's just real fun.
We're all about giving back to the community as well. So you can come in here and you can write cards for military veterans or people that are in need.
It's a place to buy band merchandise, but also experience their brand, getting to choose which side of the store speaks to each person.
Over there's my side of the place.
Which side?
Over there.
So you're Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos. She's Kindness.
Both.
People who live nearby tell us having this store right in their backyard makes it all extra special.
This is their first store because they started here, and I think that's really cool.
For Laconia and the surrounding areas, you know, it's going to boost business.
What we wanted to do is do something really cool in this community of Laconia and start to build the Chaos and Kindness brand globally.
Their commitment to community bleeds into the products being sold. They say they're all made in New Hampshire.
We want to make sure that we always give back to the state to help make us who we are.
Most opted for the VIP experience, paying for a ticket to get inside, but also meet the guys behind the brand.
Really cool thing to be a part of, to be here for the opening of all this chaos.
In Laconia, Siobhan Lopez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Looks like a fun time there yesterday. I'll have to go and check it out. Landowski sets high bar for GOP Senate candidates to keep him out of race. Super PAC supporting his prospective bid received 15,000 sign-ups hours after going live, organizers say. Two of Corey Landowski's potential competitors in a Republican U.S. Senate primary are rejecting his attempt to set for them the fundraising levels that would keep him out of the race. Joe Biden hits back, aimed reports Trump pressured Ukraine to investigate his son. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
Tonight, a fiery Joe Biden on offense, attacking President Trump amid reports the president pressured his Ukrainian counterpart to investigate Biden's son.
You should be asking him the question, why is he on the phone with a foreign leader, trying to intimidate a foreign leader?
Biden's comments coming after the Wall Street Journal reported Mr. Trump pressed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky 8 times in a July 25th phone call to work with his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, to investigate Hunter Biden for his Ukrainian business dealings, according to people familiar with the matter.
Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum, and he's using the abuse of power and every element of the presidency to try to do something to smear me.
Today, the president again defended his phone call. "Call it the Ukraine witch hunt," he tweeted. Nothing was said that was in any way wrong. And Ukraine's foreign minister today disputing reports of any pressure from Mr. Trump. This conversation was long, friendly, and it touched on many questions. With continuing concerns about why the Trump administration delayed military aid for Ukraine, last night the Pentagon announced the U.S. will deploy additional troops and military equipment to Saudi Arabia after its oil fields were attacked last week.
The president has approved the deployment of U.S. forces, which will be defensive in nature and primarily focused on air and missile defense.
The Saudis tonight still trying to determine where the hostile missiles came from.
We hold Iran responsible for the attack, but we are investigating where the launch emanated from.
Hans, turning back to the Ukraine story, there was a new call for impeachment today.
Yeah, late this evening, Senator Elizabeth Warren renewed her call to begin impeachment proceedings against the president and appeared to reference Ukraine, saying Trump has solicited another foreign government to attack our election system.
Hey, NBC News fans,
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at some events happening today in New Hampshire. Tanger Fit 5K run/walk begins at 8:30 a.m. at Tanger Outlets in Tilton. Granite State 10 similar for the Boys and Girls Club, 9 a.m. at NHTI Concord's Community College. On View in Cornish, American Art in the Picture Gallery, 1948 to 2019, St. Gaudens National Historic Park. Portsmouth Ferry House Tour, 10 o'clock a.m. at Strawberry Bank Museum. Upper Pond Adventure, 10 o'clock a.m. at Squam Lake Natural Science Center. 26th Annual Harvest Moon, 10 o'clock a.m. at Mount Kearsarge Indian Museum. Concord Multicultural Festival, 11 a.m., New Hampshire State House. And those are all the events happening today in New Hampshire. If you want to see the full list, we will have a link for you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. And that does it for this Sunday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.